I'm Will Carr, and I'm here to fire you up. Welcome, everyone, to the Will Carr Speaks podcast. Today, in this episode, I sit down with Tori Stork, formerly Tori Ganal of Rocky Mountain Voice. And I tell you, this was a wildly fun and fascinating conversation. We dive into many things political here in Colorado. There's so much stuff going on that can be discussed, from different bills being passed to different battles in Jefferson County and the Department of Education over certain interesting and divisive topics. But this is going to be one of those conversations that, we really just get into what are the core components of what it means to want what's best for our future. What does it mean to want what's best for our state? And what does it mean to be able to control the things that we can control and give the rest to God? So with that said, I'm glad that you guys are here. I think this is going to be an awesome conversation for you guys to listen to. And if you're here in Colorado or you're somewhere across the country, regardless of where you're coming from, if you're a person who wants to see the best things in life for society, for the community that you have, I think this will be an insightful conversation that you guys enjoy. So with that said, thanks for being here and thanks for tuning in. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Will Carr Speaks podcast. I am excited to be here today. This is going to be an awesome episode. I've got my new friend in the studio, Tori Stork, formerly Tori Ganal, and of Rocky Mountain Voice and many other things that you've done. But we're going to just dive in and talk about who knows what all we'll get into
We
today.
could go so many different directions.
Yeah, there's lots of things that that we could get into. But just to get started, we're here in Boulder. This is where you grew up. I know you don't live here in Boulder anymore, but any comments you want to make on just being back in town?
It's beautiful driving in, seeing the Flatirons. It's just so hard to beat. It's the most beautiful city. It's a crazy one, as we were talking about before this. It was a crazy place to grow up, but good to be back. It's the best. There's just like a sense of coming home,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Colorado's always been home for you.
Yep, born and raised.
Yeah, you grew up here. That makes you a unique individual in Colorado anymore these days. Lots of transplants. And,
yes. I was just reading a study, actually. It's like 20%. It's very low.
Only 20% of people are natives. Oh,
don't quote me on that, but what I read said that. So
you're going to be quoted.
I know. That's why I said it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's, you've had quite a few little ventures and things that you've worked on in your life, but recently you just got married. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It was just a few months ago, right?
October 2025. Yeah.
Wow. So 6, 7, 8 months ago, maybe. But that's exciting.
Thank you.
And now you are hosting the Rocky Mountain Voice, which is very exciting. Mm-hmm. So tell me about that a little.
Yeah. So my mom and I have had many business ventures together, but this is our most recent one, Rocky Mountain Voice. We started it in 2024. And it's basically a news platform for conservative politics. We try to be center right. So we're still trying to get some of those people in the center, just trying to be a different voice in Colorado than what's out there right now. And it was born out of her run for governor. She just realized there was no platform that was telling the other side of the story. And every time herself as a Republican candidate would speak out about something, it would be twisted and turned and manipulated by the liberal media. So she's like, I just want something that's in the middle, that's ready to tell the truth, that people just can feel like they have a voice at the different kind of value that is typical in Colorado. So it's been so successful. We're so blessed. I'm the host of the daily podcast. So I do a 5-minute podcast every day with a rundown of the news. I do 1 minute little short videos on social media about certain topics. Those are a hit. There's some crazy stuff that happens in the state. And then we have a news platform. So we have an editor that writes. We put about 10 stories out a day. We're also an aggregator. So we aggregate from other voices around the state. We've got about 100 plus citizen journalists around the state that
Wow.
contribute. So it's been really awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah. And that's talk about quite a large team of citizen journalists. Like
Yeah.
100 is a lot.
I
Like,
know.
you
Well, we're a
know,
small but mighty team at Rocky Mountain Voice. There's
yeah.
only me, my mom, Jen, our editor, and then we've got 2 contract writers. And then we just blast out to everyone else. We say, hey, if you want your voice heard, come join us. So we've got about 100 people that consistently contribute to us.
Yeah. And that, I mean, obviously the reason that, you guys are growing and expanding is even though Colorado is considered a very blue state these days, I would say, there's a very red and conservative heartbeat to Colorado.
It's the root.
Yeah.
It's the way we used to be, the wild,
Yeah,
wild west.
right. And it's like, yeah, I want people, I'm maybe a little bit idealistic.
You're telling me I am too. I'm an optimist through and through.
Yeah.
So
It's like, I want to get away from this whole idea of right and left and red and blue and really just be able to get to this core concept of what is right, what is true, what type of values should we actually have, like what way do we really want to raise our kids, and what morals and ethics do we really want them to carry forward into their life.
yeah.
And it's unfortunate that so much stuff just gets politicized. And I know you guys have seen that, as much as anyone with, things that the way things get twisted and turned, like you said,
Mhm.
and made to look certain ways, when it's like, how can you make
How did you get that from
yeah,
that?
how did you make an apple from a banana? Like,
Right. How did 2 + 2 = 500? I don't
yeah.
know. For sure.
But yeah, like let's dive in. I mean, first I want to open up to you. Like, what are some of the key things happening in Colorado right now? I have a few on my mind.
Mhm.
But what are some of the, uh, I mean, I guess, yeah, controversial topics per se, that you've been reporting on recently
Mhm.
that, really feel important to you?
Yeah, for sure. Um, I'd say the topics we're reporting the most on that we're seeing the most interest in are kids.
Yeah.
The stuff happening at the Capitol right now with privacy,
Yeah.
parental rights, the trans agenda, whatever that may be, and then immigration is
Yeah.
huge, especially in Colorado as a sanctuary state. Polis will
Yeah.
say we're not, but we are.
Yeah.
And then also everything going on with Tabor, and
Yeah.
the state budget is blown out of control. There's just not enough money to go around, and a big part of that is there is a lot of fraud and waste going on at the Capitol that is slowly being exposed. But there's a lot of money that's being wasted that instead of taking a look at the inside of it, they
Right.
want to take money from the taxpayer and keep
Yeah.
taking money from the taxpayer. And we aren't getting our Tabor refunds as much as we were before. And that's a whole topic. It's a specific one, but
Yeah.
money, immigration, kids, I'd say those are the top 3 for
Yeah.
sure.
And I'll just say for anyone listening that maybe doesn't know for sure what Tabor is,
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a complex
it's your
issue.
taxpayer bill of rights. So it should be pretty straightforward that if you're a taxpayer and you have rights.
It basically says
Yeah.
you as a taxpayer have the right
Yeah.
to know where your taxes are going, but also to decide what you're paying taxes on. So the state can't just pop up new taxes without approval of the taxpayer. Instead, they pop them up as fees. That's the
Yep.
workaround, and they've done that plenty. But technically speaking, they cannot add new taxes without taxpayer approval.
Yeah. And that's a whole that's a whole rabbit hole that we could go
It
down.
is. And I honestly am not an expert on it. So
Yeah. There's other things I want to talk about more, but I'll just say real quickly that the whole idea, if we could eliminate the fraud
Mhm.
and uh, run our state government in a way that was actually efficient for the people without all these NGOs that are taking
Yes.
a ton of money, which unfortunately most of these NGOs are owned by people that are actually in the Colorado government. So
Yep.
that
You're saying
really
it.
ties into the fraud, and people just want to stick their head in the sand about this stuff. But the thing is, like, people think in order for us to have things that we have to take money from the rich or
Mhm.
tax people more. And I think a great example to look at is a country like Dubai that has absolutely no
Yeah, it's
taxes, and
crazy.
they have, um, and if Colorado looked like Dubai, that would be my goal.
Right?
You
Clean,
know,
pristine,
exactly. No
tons of
crime, no
businesses.
crime.
Right.
Like, people don't realize that about places like that either. They think,
Singapore, same
yeah,
thing.
like, oh, it's the Middle East, it must be bad, right? It's like,
Hmm.
no. Actually, people leave their keys in their Bugatti and not worry about it getting stolen there.
If only.
And so personally, I think this is something that is kind of a long-term vision, but I think we could get to a place like that here in America and in Colorado in general if we just had sound money principles.
Yeah.
But
And I will say,
yeah.
on moving forward, I do think and agree with you that, I mean, I may be an optimist as well. Like, that is in the future. I think we've seen a shift in the country, especially in the last 2 years, and especially in our generation, of people saying, there's so much fraud. Let's expose it. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Doge. Look at the things that Nick Shirley's exposing. Like,
Yeah.
we've got this young generation that's like, we're done. We are sick of the nonsense, and we really want to start families and raise them in a place that's free and that we can live our lives without the government interfering all the time. And
Yeah.
that's not a right or left issue.
Mhm.
And I try to say that as much as I mean, I was raised in Boulder. I went to Eugene, Oregon for school. I lived in Portland for 4 years. Like, most of my friends are pretty liberal.
Yeah.
And the thing I say is, like, look, what has the government ever done well?
Yeah.
Not very many things. So if we can bring in business-minded people, really get efficient with our money, eliminate taxes and fraud, I mean, we're in a much better place than we were before,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think we're seeing a rise of that.
Absolutely. Because we come from this younger generation. I'm 35. You're probably a couple
I'm
years
30.
younger than me. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I think, we grew up in like the era of Obama and stuff. And I remember being so hyped on it, like,
Yeah.
I was 17 when Obama first got elected, or I would have voted for him. But it was, these ideas of these, like the social liberal ideas of taking care of people and wanting
Yeah.
to make sure everyone's taken care of. Well, those are actually possible if we would get the government out of the way.
Right.
The problem is that we keep voting for these same people that are making these promises, but then all they're really doing is impoverishing everyone
Mhm.
versus actually fulfilling these promises that they're making. And then everyone just gets, it's like an idealistic idea, right? It's like, oh, you have to vote for this or you have to believe this because
It's a moral fight.
we're taking care of people. And it's
Mhm.
like, well, we might actually agree morally, but the way that they're going about it is never going to get the result that you actually want.
Right.
And that's what I would like to wake everyone up to, because I think we can really make real change.
Yeah.
But it's going to take getting the corrupt politicians and the corrupt systems out of the way. Yeah. And so speaking of Nick Shirley, do you
Mhm.
want to, I saw a post, I think the last
Do a
couple of
little
days.
plug.
Yeah. So for the Freedom Festival that we've
Yeah.
got coming up.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll let you take that from there. But
Yeah, so we are going to have the biggest birthday party for America and
let's
Colorado ever.
go.
Rocky Mountain Voice is hosting the Freedom Fest June 26th and 27th. Nick Shirley is our keynote speaker for the Mountain Majesty Gala. I'm super stoked. I think that he is such a good representation of, one, Rocky Mountain Voice and our values.
Yeah.
Like, our goal is to expose the truth and the corruption. And that is exactly what he's doing. And also be a voice for the younger generation. And that's also who he is. I mean, he's
Yep.
24 years old. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Wow. A baby.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he's been to like 15 different countries to expose some of the stuff. He's met with drug lords. Like, he's like exposing Tim Walz. Like, it's
Yeah.
actually crazy all that he's succeeded in. So really excited to have him here. Also really excited to sit him down and be like, hey, look at all the stuff happening in Colorado.
Yeah.
How can you help?
Come here, please.
Yes. And he's done a little bit of work here with the immigration stuff and with homeless problem in Denver. But I think that there's a lot of fraud that he could definitely look into. I'm not going to say there's confirmed fraud, but there's a lot of question marks. So
Oh yeah.
super excited to have him. We've got some really great speaker announcements. We got 2 confirmed yesterday that I'm excited to announce. So
Awesome. Can you announce them now, even though because this won't be public for at least a week or so?
Okay, great. We're announcing it next week. So I'll announce the other big speaker is Greg Gutfield.
Oh,
Browns
sweet.
box. Yeah. So
I'm more excited about Nick Shirley, I'll
I
say.
am too. I am too. But Greg will
My
bring in a
parent,
little bit more of
my
the older
parents would like
generation.
Greg.
Yeah, we got it. We got to have some balance.
Yeah.
We're hoping to have 2,000 people there. There's going to be a rodeo. There's going to be fireworks. There's going to be a carnival. There's going to be workshops for people that really want to be tangible and learn how to be productive and activated on the ground. So we're going to have it all. 2 days, Douglas County Fairgrounds. Tickets are live. Tons of different options for tickets. So it really, and you're going to be there too.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to be involved too and just help organize and, make it a great experience for everyone because I think we're celebrating Colorado's 150th and America's 250th birthday.
And we're the only state that aligns. Like we're the centennial state, 150 years, 100 years behind America. So it is a really cool thing to celebrate. And we're hoping we'll get big names. We're hoping that there's a tour that's going around the country. We're hoping to have them stop at the festival in celebration of America's 250th. So it's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's going to be big. And a lot of great people are going to be there, a lot of great speakers. And it'll be a great time.
Yeah.
So
super stoked. Thanks for the plug.
Yeah, of course. Let's dive into some of these kids' issues. Because I'll just say personally, my daughter turns 10 tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about a milestone.
My siblings just turned 14 today. So yeah, that is a milestone.
Yeah. Well, because I think, she's lived a decade now. And so I've been a dad for a decade. And
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That is a big accomplishment.
Oh, it is so awesome. And what an incredible decade it's been. My daughter is a superstar. I could spend the whole podcast talking about that. but we
love it. Girl dad.
Yes. And she's awesome. But I just think how different life will be in another decade, right? Like, so from a parental standpoint, it's just, that's crazy. But I also live in Jefferson County. And
the worst of them. Yeah. Is she in public school?
No.
Good.
No, I homeschool her. She was in public school for a couple of years, and it was right, obviously, as the COVID and everything was going down. I got her a medical mask exemption. And so she was one of the only kids in school with a medical mask exemption.
Wow.
And
good for you.
Yeah. And they would try to fight me on every corner. And the school would literally, I'll never forget going to, the choir stuff, like they're having the kids sing and there's like
with masks on.
And there's a couple, and they're all singing with the masks on. So stupid. But there was a couple kids without masks, right? They literally stuffed them in the back corners. Like they're trying to hide them.
Wow.
Hide the children who actually still have their faces exposed.
Wow.
And it was insanity. I would go and speak in front of the school board but they don't care. They literally do not care. Like they won't even look at you while you're talking. You can have all these valid points. Doesn't matter. They're there. The Jefferson County School Board is there specifically to carry out their political agenda, of which they've been installed to do.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I actually had a mask exemption for myself too, which was hilarious battle to go with too. They would try to make me wear a mask and I'd be like, well, the county ordinance says if I have a medical mask exemption.
Wow.
And so, and to some degree, some of the administrators I have some bit of sympathy for because they are at the actual school level trying to deal with parents. I'm sure it wasn't fun dealing with me. Not that I was rude or anything.
Yeah.
Like I was but I'm also a 6'10", 290-pound man
it
saying
me.
Like, I'm not going to wear a mask. And they're like,
okay, sounds good.
But that's the problem is with they're just doing what the bureaucracy is telling them to do.
Yeah.
And they know if they step out against it, they're going to be fired.
And we have seen that retaliation with a lot of teachers and administrators who have stuck their neck out and fired immediately, or even their lives made miserable. There was a story we covered recently, like someone's boyfriend got arrested and then she was fired, but yet there's all these corrupt people within the district. Like it's like, she was like, I don't understand how I'm being punished. I didn't do anything. Someone I dated a long time ago, and yet there's teachers they're teaching that are being that are sexually abusing kids,
Yeah.
that are being so corrupt, that are probably taking money from NGOs, from other people. Jefferson County truly is a whole issue of its own.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
I would arguably say the most corrupt school district in the state.
yeah, if not one of the most corrupt across the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, because really a real life example. Just a month or so ago, we had someone, a Jefferson County school teacher or administrator or something, staff of Jefferson County, get in trouble for having sex with a minor at school. And what happened to them? 20 years probation, unsupervised probation.
I think that's probably one of like 20 cases
Yeah.
also as of recently.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I can't quote this for sure, but not many of them got jail time, if any, at all.
No. They, no jail time for sexually assaulting a minor, but jail time for completely minor offenses where no one was harmed.
Yep.
So that is our judicial system in Colorado, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what have you been reporting on as far as, I know like Jeffco Kids First does a great job, huge, yeah. Shout out to Lindsay.
Yeah, go Lindsay.
Yeah, and Jeffco Kids First. Let's talk about what's going on in Jefferson County a little bit right now, because they're about to lose. Am I right in saying $80 million of funding? Isn't it something crazy?
Something crazy like that. I don't know the exact number, but that's what happens when you break the law.
Yeah.
And basically what's happening is, there's tons of males competing. 61 males competing in women's sports.
Just in high school.
Yeah. Imagine then you add on
just
middle
in Jefferson
school.
County.
Just in Jefferson County. And people say this isn't an issue. I think that's my biggest problem is like people are like, oh, it's just one kid. And it's like, no, it's not just one kid. It's 61 kids in one school district in a state that has several.
Yeah.
That are doing this. Most are probably doing this. I know Durango's doing this. Boulder County's doing this. I know Douglas County has some cases. Like, this is not just under the radar anymore. Like, when I went to college, I had a person who identified as a cat in one of my classes, and it was kind of funny. And now you have a spectrum. I don't know if you just saw the video of the lawmaker in Canada. There was like 25 different acronyms for different genders,
they're adding a bunch of letters.
And look, I have complete compassion for people that are struggling struggling with their identity. I actually have a family member who has transitioned, and this was 20 years ago. It was very early on. No one knew how to handle it back then. But the truth of the matter is, especially with the girls sports issue, is like, this is a safety issue.
Yep.
You have males in the locker rooms with girls. You have Jefferson County is also dealing with issues of school trips, like males being roomed with females.
Yep.
And I hope to have kids in the next couple years, and like as a potential parent, that scares the crap out of me.
Oh yeah.
It's terrifying, and there's tons of bad influences on the top with these teachers sexually abusing children. There's a lot of confusion. So yeah, like, you should have $80 million of federal funding withheld from you if that's the game you're going to play.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And there's a lot that's going on in Jefferson County, but I think the sexual abuse, the teachers that are sexually abusing kids, and the men and girls sports is gigantic.
Yeah. And this is one of those topics for me that I feel like everyone should be able to unite on.
Right.
If I could find a silver lining of topics like this, because it's hard to think of a silver lining for something like this.
Lindsay, the whole reason Jeffco Kids first started was medical exemptions.
Exactly.
And I thought that would be a silver lining too. Like, hey, not everyone, my body, my choice. Yeah. If I don't want the vaccine, my choice. Yeah. Don't force me to get it. And what a fight she fought for years for that, coming out of COVID. And now look at the fight she's in now. So I agree with you. I think men and girls sports is an issue that I wear my shirt to the gym all the time, and I get all these weird looks. And I'm like, this is an issue we should all be aligned on. Right. Like feminism, girls, like protecting women. And yet I'm on the wrong side. Like I I can't believe it.
It just shows how much propaganda as and I'm not here to say there's only propaganda on one side of the aisle.
There's definitely
Oh
propaganda on
no.
both.
And that's my whole thing. I would love to see the entire system burned to the ground and start over because unfortunately with lobbyists and the higher we get, the more local you get, the better it gets. But the higher level we get, it doesn't matter for the most part if you're Republican or Democrat. You vote on what you were told to vote on by your lobbyists and the people that paid the millions of dollars to get you there.
Yep.
And so
the ads you see on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people vote because their husband or wife told them to vote a certain way, or
Oh,
their
yeah.
parents told them to vote a certain way, and they're getting fed these ads via Instagram, Facebook, all these things. I mean, it's a very corrupt system. And we actually had a pollster out here a couple of months ago, and he's a very well-known pollster. He's the only one who correctly called Trump winning both times.
Wow.
And very smart guy, looking at data all day long. And he said the number one thing that Republicans could do right now, and Democrats, they won't because the system benefits them, but that Republicans could do right now is say, hey, we're going to expose all of the fraud, all of the waste, all of the corruption in the system. We're going to burn it down. Burn it down to the ground.
Yep.
And that's why people love Doge, because that's what they thought was going to happen. Like, hey, let's.
But it didn't.
It didn't. It didn't go anywhere.
Oh, here's some pennies that we found.
All of that to say, our generation specifically, I said this earlier, like we want to see it burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
We want to see it all exposed.
Yeah.
But the problem is the system benefits the people within it.
Right.
So,
because we're tired of seeing the $40 trillion of debt. We're tired of seeing, regardless of who gets elected, we get excited about someone being elected. And then guess what? They turn out to not do any of the promises that they made, or they turn out to do 10% of the promises that they made. It's like, we're tired of seeing people talk out of one side of their mouth and act a different way.
Yep.
And that's what, like, going back to this idea of the silver lining, I would think that these certain topics that have gotten so extreme, right? It's like, can that show everyone that we need to step out of this political system the way it exists? Like, we need to foundationally restructure. But that's not easy.
It's not. And I mean, for example, talking about what's happening in the legislature last year, I mean, there's so much stuff happening right now. And to be honest with you, I don't even know all of it that's happening right now. There's so much. But last year specifically, HB 1312 was a huge bill. It ended up passing with a lot of language taken out of it. But a big part of it was a parent could literally lose custody for misgendering a child.
Yeah.
I, as someone who works in news, could get sued for misgendering someone. It was crazy. I mean, the things that were within it. And that's the society that we live in here in Colorado. But I think that that's where the world is going too, is like just this massive divisiveness where it's like, well, you don't want to do what I want you to do. You're not following my morals, my values, my ideals. Then we're going to put you in jail.
Yeah. And
we have to stop that before it gets out of control, because then we're moving towards a part of history that we don't want to be back in.
No. We should 100% be in a place where people can do and say, I mean, I'm going to rephrase this. People should not be able to do anything that they want. People should, for the most part, really, I guess I'm going to take an extreme stance on this. People should be able to say whatever they want.
Free speech, man.
100%. Like, free speech needs to be taken full blown. Like, whether you say something that hurts someone's feelings, I, as a person who want to hold myself to a high moral standard, do not want to say things to hurt people's feelings, or like, I'm not going to want to be rude, or I'm not going to want to be disrespectful. But if someone out there does, let everyone's words speak for themselves. Like, we don't have to censor people.
Right. We can have different opinions.
Yeah.
The world of having different opinions and being able to get along is far gone. I actually had 3 friends from high school, my 3 best friends in high school, tell me that they could not come to any of my wedding celebrations because of my politics.
Whoa.
I know.
And like, good friends.
Good, best friends. Best friends. Like, went to one's wedding, another one. Like, I mean, they were like, we all had our graduation party together in high school, have stayed friends. They know I've not changed. My
Yeah.
politics have remained the same since high
Yeah.
school. Nothing has changed about me, but the external world has changed. Charlie Kirk was a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
They said because I was friends with Charlie Kirk, they couldn't come. Because my mom is who she is, they couldn't come. And it broke my heart, not just because my friends weren't coming to celebrate me because of me and my heart and who I am, but because society has gotten to such a divisive place that we can't put that aside to celebrate someone that has been in our life for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. And I don't know how we turn that around. I think that that's an issue. Like, I would never say that to any of my liberal friends. I'd never be like, hey, because you're politics, I can't come celebrate you. And I do think that that's a message that leans more left, that the right doesn't always. I mean, I'm sure there's people on the right that would say that, but like, I don't know anyone that would.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how we fix it, but it's frustrating. And it's being in the middle of it. It's so bad on both sides. I mean, I have people commenting on my videos, the worst things imaginable on both sides of the aisle. I'm like, you guys, you can't just like, I mean, free speech, you can say whatever you want, but like, let's like be human here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that comes back to, actually something Charlie said a lot was conversation.
That's all.
It all comes back to conversation. We need to have more conversation where we get out of this idea of the opposite side or whatever aren't other humans.
Yeah. Like I'm a human being. You're a human being. We're all just living this crazy life. Like we've all got shit that happened. Like, you know?
Well, that's a whole other thing. Because I think that there's maybe a few politicians that actually aren't human, but we're not going to go down that conspiracy today. But
I mean, I can talk conspiracies if you want to talk conspiracies, but I haven't heard that one before. But I wouldn't be surprised either.
I guess really where I just mean to go with that is I think a lot of the politicians, they are beyond the point where conversation does. I think the conversation needs to happen between real people.
Right. It has to start on the lower level, local, not just the local level, but like your inner circle.
Yeah.
Like we have to be willing to talk to people that we love and care about, because when you love and care about someone, like, you know their heart, you know where they're coming from. You can understand them a little bit more. We have to be able and willing to have those conversations with each other. And then we can start having them on a more local level. We can start going to school board meetings. We can start meeting with politicians. We can start reaching out about certain bills. But hey, before we go that far, like let's start with our families and our friends and just have conversations.
Yeah. The ability to still be friends and just have conversation and disagree.
Yeah.
It's something that, doesn't.
It's an art. That is a long lost art.
Yeah, long lost art. It's unfortunate. Like, I definitely obviously lean more conservative in my viewpoints and the things that I believe and think. But I also feel like I'm very like socially liberal in the sense of
most people are.
Yeah.
I would say the majority of our generation specifically, more millennials than Gen Z probably. I think Gen Z actually leans much more right than left in some thinking. But I think millennials are very fiscally conservative and socially liberal.
Yeah. Let people do what they want.
We were in a generation
as long as it
that
doesn't hurt anyone.
Hey, gay marriage, love who you love. Like, that was the whole Obama era.
Right.
Like, have hope, love each other. Like, just do whatever you want. Just do it safely. And, I don't know. I think we've lost a lot of that too. But
totally.
I think most people agree with you on that front.
Yeah. It's
we can have compassion and still disagree.
Yeah. Yeah. It shouldn't have to be a battle for people to live their life the way they want. Even if I disagree with the way if I wouldn't live my life the way you're living your life, it's okay. As long as you're not, I
always tell people, you can do whatever you want. I just don't want to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That. And my high school basketball coach had a great rule. He'd say there's only 2 rules in life. Don't be a burden, do the right thing. That's what he would say. First, do the right thing.
Yeah.
And then don't be a burden on others. And if you can do those 2 things,
hey,
I'm like, those should be the only 2 laws. Are you doing the right thing? And we might need to define what the right thing is.
Yeah, exactly.
But then are you being a burden on others? If you can live by those 2 things, you've pretty much got it down.
Well, that would, if we're talking being a burden on others, there's a huge part of the government that pays for you to be a burden.
Yeah.
So
They incentivize you to be a
yes,
burden.
they incentivize you to be a burden.
And they're incentivized to have as many people be burdens as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's, that could definitely, one of my favorite topics and where I feel the most versed in discussing is actual fiscal policy and understanding monetary policy at a deeper level. Because fiscal policy is often like, well, how do we budget? How do we do this? But really just understanding monetary policy at its deepest roots if we could fix our monetary issues as a country, a lot of the opportunity for this fraud and a lot of the opportunity for the things that are going wrong would actually be eliminated at its core, because
there'd be no incentive to pay for it to
exactly
happen.
because it's the incentive. The current monetary system creates incentive for these things to continue to transpire.
And a big part of that is the NGOs. A lot of the stuff happening at the Capitol, you can actually go publicly see who's endorsing these bills, who's lobbying for these bills, who's against them. And it's always shocking. There's actually a bill going on right now about data. Well, guess who's backing it? Google.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's put some red flags up. Let's follow the money. Why are they incentivized by this? And you can do that with, last year, I'm super passionate about health and wellness. Yeah. I know you are as well. And last year there was a bill that went through that would basically prevent dietitians from having a license to practice here in Colorado. They would have to be part of a certain organization member to be a dietitian. So when you looked at the people that were behind this bill, it was Healthier Colorado, which is a huge NGO that basically, the front of it is like, oh, we want everyone to have food and no one should starve. But behind the scenes, it's basically just an NGO feeding money to the government to have more people on welfare. Then the other side of it was Natural Grocers. Natural Grocers was like, we're against this bill because we have a whole dietitian platform. And you're saying that none of our dietitians can work with people. Yeah. Or that if they do, they have to pay for a certain license and put more burden on them. So it's stuff like that where it's like, follow the money, see where it's going. But there are a lot of people that are incentivized to do the wrong thing. Yeah. And a lot of these politicians are taking money from people they shouldn't. It's my husband and I talk about this a lot, especially with the Maha stuff. It's so corrupt that you can't fix it right away. The glyphosate thing happening right now, Trump agreed or basically signed an executive order saying we're going to make sure that the companies that use glyphosate can't be sued. And the Maha movement was like, WTF, Trump, why would you do that? But the matter of the fact is that half our food supply is dependent on glyphosate. So it's not something that we can just burn down right away. It's something that is splitting up the Maha movement because people are like, okay, I understand. How do we get people off this food that is dependent on glyphosate? How can we get people off of food that has corn, high fructose corn syrup? But also, how can we make changes that are positive and still do that and burn the system down? Yeah. It's all a mess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I just had Azure is her name on my podcast a couple weeks ago, and she runs the Yellow Barn Farm here in Boulder. Okay. And that was all we talked about the whole time.
Really?
Regenerative agriculture. Okay. And she said something really similar. You can't end the typical industrial farming the way it is right now overnight. It has to be a slow change.
Because so many people depend on it.
Right.
Talk about the burden. It's you've got people, a huge percentage of people on SNAP. A lot of those foods that they can afford on SNAP are foods that are processed with glyphosate. Yeah. So it's hard and it breaks my heart, but also we just have to put more voices like hers and people who are wanting to change the system in front and give them a voice, give them a microphone. Yeah. I think RFK Jr. is doing everything he can to make changes slowly in a system that is very broken.
Which is why it needs to burn.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Natural Grocers, by the way. I only shop at Natural Grocers, and
I love it.
I call it Natty G's.
Natty G's.
Natty G's.
I love it.
Colorado company, but
they're doing great things.
They are, and that is actually a simple way. you can vote with your dollars, right? Go to natural grocers because you're not getting uh, the bad, nasty processed foods there.
Hmm.
The only thing they have are, and I even would go a little more extreme personally than natural grocers. I get the canola oils, get everything, get all the
Yes.
seed oils
Seed
out,
oils are
like,
huge.
but at least for the most part, you go to natural grocers and there's nothing there with glyphosate.
Hmm.
It's organic, natural foods.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, you might find that the smaller grocery store, you actually enjoy not having to walk a mile to get around the whole.
I mean, even Whole Foods, we go to Whole Foods every week and I'm like, why are we here? This is
Yeah.
insane. There's so many people. But yeah, for sure. They're
Yeah.
doing a great job. And they do have a very strong voice in the Capitol when
Yeah.
things go against what they believe in, which
Mhm.
I can stand behind. Whether or
Yeah.
not I believe in what they believe in, I typically do. But so cool to see an organization like that actually standing up to the government.
Yeah. What are some of the other topics you've been reporting on most recently, that you feel most passionate about?
Let's see. I mean, there's a lot going on. It's an election year.
Yeah.
Election integrity, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
Reporting on that a lot.
Yeah. What are some of the comments and stuff you get from people on that one? Like, what are you hearing?
It's an interesting one and very divisive.
Yeah.
There's a faction of people that are like, it's so messed up. Why would we vote? And then there's this
Mhm.
faction of people that are like, it's messed up. Let's change it. And then there's a faction of people that are like, y'all are crazy. This isn't messed up. We have the gold standard, like Jenna Griswold says, of
Yeah.
election integrity, which there is literal proof that it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I mean, she leaked passwords out to everyone for the machines. The machines are connected to Wi-Fi. These machines are brought in by Dominion, which is an overseas, it's actually a local company, but is now overseas.
Yeah.
There's so many problems. Where do you even begin? And I've got to hand it to my mom. I mean, she's been working so hard to expose what's going on with the election integrity stuff, and not without its challenges, because people are like, oh, she's a crazy election denier,
Mhm.
which that was her title during the campaign, because she was like, I don't know. I just want to know the truth.
Yeah.
She's like, prove to me that it's the gold standard, or prove to me that something's wrong.
Yeah.
And she went and we did a whole audit and we found things wrong. And then no
Lots
one
of
believed
things
us.
wrong. Yeah.
So,
Like, no, here's the data. Like,
yeah.
look,
Yeah.
and I'll even say, I had one of my great friends, from Illinois, that I played college basketball with. He lived, with me for a year and a half or something at one point. So, just in the last election, I got a ballot in the mail for him. He hasn't lived here for 8 years.
And talk about money, like
yeah.
how much money it costs to send ballots to all the
Yeah.
people that they're sending them to that
Right.
don't live here anymore,
Yeah.
or who are dead, or like,
Yeah.
it's insane.
And I just threw it in the trash because I don't know what else I'm supposed to do with it.
Probably still counted.
It would be interesting to find out.
Yeah. And there
But,
are a lot of groups
yeah.
that are coming in, and Judicial Watch is suing the state
Yeah.
for cleaner voter rolls. Coffee is another group that's doing amazing work in the election integrity space. Just working with clerks directly has been huge. I mean, actually, the majority of clerks in Colorado are right-leaning and want to see change, but they feel like they can't because they can't. Jenna Griswold is their boss.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I
and they
mean,
saw what happened to Tina Peters.
Tina Peters is
So,
a very highly reported on topic for me,
Right.
and one of the most divisive topics that I report on. So much misinformation about what happened there.
yep.
So much misinformation about the case in general. I really try and stay to the facts, not opinionated,
Yep.
one way or the other. But it's funny. Like, the Democrats are running on the fact that they put Tina Peters in jail. I mean, she's a Gold Star mom,
Yeah.
a grandma.
Yeah.
And they're running on the fact that they put this woman in jail for election integrity. But the matter of the fact is like, there are so many pieces to this.
Yeah.
And Attorney General Phil Weiser, I mean, it's like his cream of the crop.
Right.
I mean, he went into my husband's workplace. He spoke to everyone and was like bragging about Tina Peters. And my husband came home and was like, who's this Tina lady? It was like, oh, we're going down the rabbit hole today.
Wow. Yeah.
But it is wild. The second you speak out about it, you're at risk
Yeah.
to be misunderstood, to be
Yep.
exposed, to be put in jail. And we're seeing that here a lot.
Yeah. Because it's wild that if you just come from the standpoint of, well, we just want to talk and understand the facts,
Mhm.
people are like, you're evil.
Again, I think what all of politics, I think really what people want, it's like, we just want to know one way or the other.
Yeah.
We just want to know the truth.
Yep.
And is that too hard of a thing to ask? And I
Yep.
think election integrity is the perfect example of that. I think there's so many people that were like, we will give up on election integrity if you just prove that it's okay.
Yeah.
But also, we're not going to give up on it because what we see is that it's not okay.
Right.
And I mean, nationally too, there's a huge vote or a huge movement right now. I just reported on this yesterday about people wanting to change electoral college and have it be based on the national popular vote
Yeah.
versus the electoral college. It's like, then you see the gerrymandering, which is happening in Virginia. That just got
Yep.
voted down, thank goodness. But that's happening here too.
Yeah.
They're about to redistrict. They want it to happen. So there's so many ways that they're doing this. But mail-in ballots, I think, is the number one issue.
Right.
Like you said, they're landing in inboxes.
Yeah.
They're sending it to, they sent, I think, like 30,000 ballots to illegal immigrants last year.
Yep.
They're not proving that people are citizens when they go to vote.
Right.
Simple things that you'd think, I mean, even with the SAVE Act, I mean, asking for an ID when you vote.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a privilege. When you take the citizenship test, what is the only privilege you get as a citizen? To vote.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's interesting. I had a clip on my podcast. I had a guy come on who, shout out Corey. Corey's a great guy. Very, very out there in some of his things. But
sometimes you gotta be.
Sometimes you gotta be. But great guy with great heart. And we were talking about the SAVE Act, and I had this clip, and it was crazy how divisive. That's probably the most divisive clip that I've had posted from my show, talking about the SAVE Act, and just how we should all be able to agree that, you know, you should have to be a citizen to vote, right? But the amount of people that are like, no, it's about equity, and like it's just harder for some people to get IDs, and like
my favorite argument
women
is
that got
the
married.
women who got married. Let me tell you, as a woman who just got married, it's not that hard. It's really not. I asked ChatGPT for a checklist.
Yeah.
It took me a month, less than a month. I promise you I'm going to vote
Yeah.
in the next election. I'm not being held back by the SAVE Act and voting.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I changed my name, but now it matches my ID. So it's just silly, the things that they're coming up with.
Totally. And that goes to the misinformation that we were discussing. Because unfortunately, there's just so much and then the problem is we've gotten to this point where people view politics like their favorite sports team. Where it's like, well, I'm always going to cheer for these guys because they're my team. Mm-hmm. Or I'm always going to cheer for these guys, they're my team. And so any information that you hear that's like, oh, well, if it supports my team, it must be true. Right?
And in Colorado, your largest voting bloc across the state is independents because people are sick of one side or the other.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't feel like we can root for either team because they're both so crazy.
Man.
So now you've got independents as the largest voting bloc in Colorado, and no one knows what to do with them. Mm-hmm. Then they're 60% Democrats, 40% Republicans. But to your point, it's like people have a team, and they stick with the team, and then when the team loses, the whole world implodes.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it always has to be that way.
No. Well, and it really comes down to this question. And if you have an answer to this question, we're going to change the world.
Okay, lay it on me.
So the only way we can find an answer to this question is through lots of conversation that people have. But how can with the majority of Coloradans not being Republican, Democrat, being independent, how do we truly get to that point where we actually can say, hey, guess what? We actually do want to cut off both wings of the same bird. And I guess that means we murder the bird.
Yikes.
But
morbid.
I'm for it.
Morbid turn you just took.
We burn it down.
Yeah.
How do we get to this point where we hit the critical mass? Because I think that's what it comes down to. There's got to be a critical mass that gets hit where we can truly build something new that is for the people, that is based in common sense, that is not based in rooting for your team. That's not based in like, well, because great example is, we'll go back to the boys playing and girls sports types thing. There's a lot of people, like I have a friend who is much more liberal. And so, but we have respectful discourse, about things. He like will not even comment back on it. Like if I try to bring that topic up, he like will ignore it because he knows there's no winning it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what's your argument on that
Yeah.
end? Like,
So
there's not much
he
point.
has to ignore it in order to continue to try to make these valid points, these other points that he thinks are valid. So how can we get to this? How can we make that change? How can we create a new, because I'm ready to see a full paradigm shift.
I think most of us are. And I think a big problem, especially in Colorado, is that politics are run by a very long-standing group of consultants on both sides. And so you've got these people that are running everything from the top that are behind the scenes that nobody even knows, who hold all the money and the power. And so if you're a candidate that's in the middle and you're like, hey, I want to burn the place down, like there's no money, there's no help. There's really, it's really hard to get on the ballot. You have to get hundreds of thousands of signatures. It's not a system that is built for an independent party. But there are some people doing it. I mean, James Wiley, he's running for Secretary of State right now. He led the Libertarian Party for a long time. He's running as a Republican now, but I'd say he's a pretty middle-minded person. Libertarians are kind of like an under the radar party in Colorado, but it's like basically libertarian. All they want is the government to be out of their life.
Right.
I think a lot of people do consider
myself a
that.
libertarian.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think people of the Libertarian Party can be extreme, but so can people in the Republican Party. So can people in the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer to your question. I was really hoping I'd have a home run for you, but I don't. I do think that we're going to have to see a shift with independents being the largest voting bloc in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think we're only going to see that growing. I think more people are going to get sick of the extremist views on both ends. Another problem is this purity test to be a candidate. I mean, to be a candidate, I know it's like this in the Republican Party. I'm sure it's like this on the left as well. If you're not pro-life, like totally fiscally conservative, if I'm trying to think of other issues. I can't think of any election integrity. Like if you don't believe the election was stolen, like you can't be a candidate. It's this purity test. Like you have to believe the most extreme things and then we'll elect you. Well, guess what? In the general election, that screws you over because now you're trying to appeal to all these independents, but you're labeled as this pro-life election denier, capitalist person that they're like, we don't want that. But in reality, you aren't that. And you were just a person that needed to get elected into the general election. So the primaries, in order to get into the primaries, you have to be so far onto either end. And then you get in the general and you have to be someone different to apply to all the independents. So I hope we can see that change. Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah. My one hope, if I could see a path forward for this, and it would be a long road.
Hey, it took the Democrats 10 plus years to flip Colorado from red to blue. So it's going to be a long road no matter what. It's going to be a long road to independence. It's going to be a long road to middle ground. It's going to be a long road no matter what happens. So
it's going to be a long road with lots of potholes and
well, we're in Colorado. There's going to be lots of potholes.
Yeah, because what happened to all that weed money? I thought it was supposed to fix all those potholes.
It's supposed to go to education, and it's not going there either. I actually just reported on that one too. So many deep dives we could do.
But my one hope would be, I think with social media, we actually have an opportunity for it not to take 10 years, like you just said. And I don't think it is flipping Colorado back from blue to red. Some people would very much disagree with that. They'd say, yes, we need to flip it back to red. But I think it's more this idea of, it's like you were just saying, so much of it is like, if you're going to run as a Democrat, you have to have these extreme views on immigration, on transgenderism, and this. If you're going to run as a Republican, you have to have these extreme views on election integrity and fiscal responsibility, or like whatever. You've got to be extreme to run on one side or the other, right? Well, what if we actually could have a movement through social media where we had our own, we need our own billionaire, we need, well, and necessarily we don't need, like, if we had that, it'd be great. But like, if enough people came together, well, then you have a billionaire in a group, right? And what if we actually could make a movement where it's like, hey, no one vote red or blue. Let's actually elect some common sense people that aren't and somehow aren't entitled to all of these lobbyists on either side, right? Because the problem is, you've got these lobbyists on both sides, but really those lobbyists are controlled by the same person.
Yeah.
Whether it be these, because they just want to make sure that no matter where the balance of power goes, that they still keep the boat going this way. Maybe the boat's going like this a little bit, but it's going to where their ultimate end goal is, which is complete power. Well, it's complete power. It's what it is. It's continuing to take more and more liberties away from people. And so I have this hope that somehow through, because social media is the great equalizer.
Yeah.
Really, we have the ability to get out in front of people. We have the ability to get our content shared, like to get non-radical ideas pushed forward. And
people are hungry for it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, my videos don't just go viral because no one cares.
Right.
People care. They're hungry for the truth. They want to know what happens. And you're right. Social media is a huge, powerful platform, but people need to be brave enough to use their voice, put themselves out there, share their opinion, even if it's divisive, even if it's unpopular. I think we saw a huge shift. Like, Charlie was a huge piece of that, right? Like, he was like, let's just have a conversation. Let's post it on social media. When I knew him 12 years ago, he was like, what's Instagram? Tell me about this thing. And I'm like, look at what happened there.
No kidding.
Like, you can not know anything, and then you can still build a platform, build a voice. So I hope you're right. I hope that can be a platform that people can use to come together. And I think there just needs to be more of an openness to conversation, or else it won't work.
I mean, that's the only place it can start. An openness to conversation, and an openness to not fully demonize someone instantaneously for having a different opinion than you.
Yeah.
Because we shouldn't have to agree on everything.
And you can be a good person and not have the same beliefs as someone else.
Yeah. There's, because I truly believe that most, for the most part, the large overwhelming majority of people that are very liberal in their way of thinking have good intentions. Like, they have good hearts. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's because their morals are that they want to take care of people, and and they think that the government is the answer to take care and to solve all these things. My plea to them would be like, please see that the government is not.
Just my favorite thing, I'm telling you, is asking, what has the government ever done well?
Yeah.
Or how was your experience when you go to the DMV?
Yeah.
Do you love going to the DMV?
Yeah.
Not really, because it's not efficient. Like, we have to stop trusting the government with everything.
Yeah.
With feeding our kids, with teaching our kids, with businesses and efficiency with money. Like, the thing is that the government is just not good at those things.
Yeah.
So how do we take control back into our own hands? I think personal liberty, personal responsibility, being like, okay, what am I doing for myself? How can I stop relying on the government and take care of myself and my family? And you got to start with you.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of my motto for my whole entire life is like, you have to have the personal responsibility first,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can go out and change the world. And I think that's what's missing with a lot of people that are left leaning. Yes, their hearts are there, the compassion is there, but relying on yourself to change and helping people get lifted, helping people lift each other out of poverty or each other out of situations versus allowing the government to do that.
Yeah. You obviously have a very firsthand account, or firsthand, like you get a lot of firsthand experience of the full circle of like people's opinions and where people's emotions are
Yeah.
based on your content and the clips and the videos you post.
Mm-hmm.
What gives you, we started by saying we're both very optimistic people.
Yeah.
What do you see that gives you the most optimism about the future?
I think a willingness to listen. When I first started posting videos and we started Rocky Mountain Voice, I was like, oh, it's just going to be another thing for people, like another platform. Will they follow it? I don't know. And it's taken some time for us to get our footing. I mean, we're 2 years into this and I feel like we're finally hitting our stride. But like the thing that gives me hope is that more and more of our content gets out to more and more people every week, every month. I mean, we are reaching millions of people at this point. We reached 12 million last year.
Wow.
So people are willing to listen and read. I mean, the amount of articles that people read fully and send in their opinions, people that write their opinions to us, people are willing to listen and want change. But that has to also happen on a government level too.
Yeah.
Lawmakers have to be willing to listen. They have to be willing to hear out their constituents. People have to show up to vote for the people that are going to listen. I think we have we have some decent candidates this run around, but there are some really great grassroots candidates that are running to be a part of the legislature and the House and the Senate that are just normal people.
Yeah.
And like we have to elect people who are just normal people, who you can go have a beer with and be like, hey, look, like this is not working. I'm a citizen. This is not happening for me. Something's wrong. I don't believe in this. And like, we have to be willing to listen. So I'm hopeful that there are people that are willing to listen, especially on social media, to the crazy things that I talk about all the time. But now after that comes the action.
Yeah. And I think I'll go back to this because this is one of my very core beliefs is that, there's the problem is that the monetary policy of the United States incentivizes all this stuff. It incentivizes our governments to work on debt. Fiat money is literally debt. Like, for anyone that doesn't know this, pull a paper bill out of your wallet and it's going to say Federal Reserve note.
Yeah.
If you don't understand what that means, a note is debt.
That's a whole rabbit hole.
And that is. And literally the Federal Reserve's goal is to have 2% annual inflation. That means their goal is for your money to lose 2% of its value a year. So if they don't hit that goal, it's losing even more than 2% of its value a year, right? The only way to truly solve these problems is to create a whole new monetary system that our governments can rely on and that people can rely on, because otherwise we are in a system of debt. The last president to try to end the Federal Reserve was JFK.
Look what happened there.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah, it's scary.
So it is, because you really...
I laugh because it makes me uncomfortable because it is super scary.
Yeah.
It is.
And that goes back to who's really pulling the strings behind the left and the right and these sides. The only way to get around that is if society can come together and understand that it's not just voting ourselves out of this. You don't vote left or right to get ourselves out of this. We might think that there's better things happening on the right. We want to vote that way. That would be our belief. But ultimately, in the long run, I do not believe that me voting Republican is going to long term.
It's not going to save the world.
Exactly. It's the same thing with the boat that's going like this. Yeah. It's going to steer it more in the direction of my daughter being safe in locker rooms, and my daughter being able to compete against strictly women as she continues to grow and
Yeah.
play in high school sports and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not going to change the ultimate structure from the top.
Right.
And
But people shouldn't be discouraged by that either.
right. Yeah.
Like, I think that some people are like, well, what? I can't change anything. So, like, what am I going to do to change it all? But educate yourself.
Yeah.
Like, that is the number one thing. And I do think that I'm a very spiritual person. And I think that there is a collective awakening happening right now
100%.
where people, I mean, I hate to bring it up, and I honestly want nothing to do with it, and I hate talking about it, but like, look at all the stuff happening with Epstein.
Yeah.
Like, things are coming to light.
Yep.
Things are coming to the surface. Are you going to educate yourself and learn and be willing to listen? Because that's where it starts. And if you can just do that, you can move the needle.
Yeah.
And you can educate your inner circle, your friends, your family. And it doesn't have to be crazy conspiracies either. I mean, there are some crazy conspiracies. It's hilarious. Thanksgiving dinner, I had two of my best friends come over because their families aren't local, and they had Thanksgiving dinner with me and my family. And we sat at the kids' table. So it was me and my husband, my two best friends, and my siblings who were all teenagers. And we talked about conspiracy theories for a whole 4 hours.
So fun.
It was fun because it's like, it's just eye-opening.
Yeah.
Because half of them aren't conspiracies anymore.
Right.
Some of them started, but it's like, have conversations, laugh about it when you have a different opinion, but educate yourself.
Yeah.
And I am a huge believer in listening to both sides. I watch CNN.
Yeah.
I watch Fox News. I look at articles from the crazy left media here. I listen to Kyle Clark because it educates me on the way people are thinking, what's happening in society. Like, don't just listen to one side.
Yeah.
Listen to both. In your heart and your soul and your intuition, you'll know what settles with you.
Yep.
And ask yourself, is this really true? Is this true for me? Is this what I believe? Is this sit well with my values, my morals? And go from there. Because if you come at it from that perspective versus like just listening to everything that's told to you all the time, like, it becomes a personal journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Be able to view everything pragmatically.
Yes.
Like, one of my
Be level-headed.
one of my key core principles, values personally, is being pragmatic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being able to view any situation omnisciently, not emotionally attached.
Yeah.
So I can have a logical head about it. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing you said I really liked is, I 100% agree this is a spiritual awakening going on right now.
The spiritual attack and also a spiritual awakening.
Yeah. And I like to look at it as, because I have a friend who's like super down the rabbit hole with the Epstein stuff, and he gets so worked up about it. And I try to tell him, I'm like, he was just laughing over because he knows what I'm talking about. And I try to tell him, I'm like, dude, there's nothing you can personally do about it. So don't let your emotions get so wrapped into it that you can't even contain yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Because you can't personally change it. But then the story that I like to tell is the story of David and Goliath. And it's like, God didn't tell David, God said, go get 5 stones because Goliath has 4 brothers. He didn't say, God didn't say, go and fill up your bag with 100 stones because you're going to need all of them. Mm-hmm. God said, you're about to face a giant, and then you're going to have to face his 4 brothers. So go get 5 stones because that's all you're going to need, and God handled the rest. Yeah. And so
we have to have more of that.
100%.
Like, hey, let's believe that there is a bigger, higher power that is going to handle things. Like, we can only do what we can do.
Yep.
But that has to start with us.
Yeah.
And like, taking the emotional side out of it is very important.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I do think that sometimes comes in the way of like the relationships, like not having open conversations, like take the emotion out of it, see how it feels, just test it out, see how it goes. And I guarantee you, it'll make you feel a little better.
Yeah.
I tell people that especially about the Epstein stuff. I'm like, take yourself out of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. Like you said, take away the emotion, just try and look at the facts, try and listen to both sides. There's not a lot of sides on that issue, but I just mean like in general, in any issue, listen to both sides, see what feels good, and know that it is spiritual at the end of the day.
Yeah. And because, Yeah, I believe that above all else, that we were sent here to be here right now for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so as many people individually that can just continue to elevate themselves and try to pull up the people around us, and remember to have that joy and that love in your heart, no matter what else is going on around you, come back to that joy and that love.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. And then it's this 100% devotion of faith and trust that God is going to handle the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like the things that are above our pay grade are above our ability as humans.
Yeah.
Well, that's not for us. That is to let go and to let God handle.
Yep.
And so I do believe we're coming, like, it's a long road, but it might not be as long as we think.
No, it really might not be.
Because God can do anything in a snap of fingers.
Yep.
And so who knows, exactly all that's happening behind the scenes, but on a spiritual level.
Yeah. We don't know everything happening
see.
Politically behind the scenes, and we definitely don't know everything that's happening spiritually behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So all that being said, like, be level-headed and know that there's more to the story behind everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been so much fun.
So much fun.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on my show and making the trip up here to Boulder. And it's just great to connect with you. And I look forward to many more conversations that we can have. And, there'd be so many more things, even politically, that we could dive into and really get deep in the roots of. We talked about a few things, but I think we stayed somewhat surface level. But
it's hard to go really deep on something without spending a whole hour talking about it.
Yeah, unless you're going to spend the whole hour on one thing.
It's the daily struggle of me making 1 minute videos. I'm like, how do I condense a week's worth of research and interviews and everything that we've done on the back end into 1 minute? It's challenging, but I appreciate you having me on and letting me speak. And it's really important that we all have our voice. And I just hope that people feel encouraged by that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thanks again. And until the next conversation.
Until the next time. I'm sure there will be many more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm Will Carr, and I'm here to fire you up.